Hello, my name is Matthew, and I just read Lanzarote by Michel Houellebecq, and there's more of a story than usual as to why I picked this up and read it. I read it years ago, and I just finished reading The Stranger by Camus, and as I was reading The Stranger, there was a moment, there was a scene that I kept thinking about, and it was a scene that I had remembered from Lanzarote, and I'll describe the scene, and then I'll talk about the book a little bit. So, of course, in The Stranger, we have our main character. Um, his mother dies. He gets mixed up with these people, and eventually, almost by randomness, we have a main character that shoots somebody dead and is imprisoned and ultimately executed. And in Lanzarote, what I had remembered, the scene that had been evoked for me, was a character that meets somebody maybe at a resort or some sort of vacation location, and maybe they're at a bar or a lounge or something like that, and our main character meets another vacationer, and there's either an altercation or some sort of situation in which the guests that we're meeting are other person makes a pronouncement and says to our main character, points at somebody, and because of an altercation or because there was a slight made or a move made to a lover, but points to somebody and says, I would love to kill that person. If I could, I would kill that person." And time goes by, a day or two, and our main character meets up with this person that was making that pronouncement, and they're at a bar and they're drinking, and maybe they rent a car, but they go off location, and we're at a remote, isolated beach, and we see the person that the person that we've been talking about wants to kill. So we see the person. He says, I wish I could kill that person. And there they are, by themselves, or maybe even in fact, with the lover on a beach that's totally isolated. And we have our main character that says, well, here is the scenario. This is the person that you want to kill. I brought a gun. We're all alone. You want to kill them. I'm providing you with everything that you wanted. You said this is what you wanted. I've created the situation in which you can safely kill the person that you want to. And you might be asking, well, what happened? And I don't know. I reread Lanzarote because I was interested in rereading this scenario. And in fact, it's not in this book. I'm not sure if it's in any of the Houellebecq novels, Elementary Particles or Submission, or I'm sure it's not in Serotonin or The Map in the Territory. But it's this hallucinatory image of a scene that I've read in a book that I'm now at a loss to pinpoint as to where I have found it. Nevertheless, I did read Lanzarote, and it's a slim little thing. It cannot be called a novel. It's maybe 70 pages. It's a short story. It's interesting that it has pictures, it has photographs in it, alien landscapes. And it's very similar to almost every story, every novel that Michel Houellebecq has written. Elementary particles and so on. We have a main character that's a substitute for the author, going on a vacation and being a tourist in an off location, whether it's an island in the Canary Islands off the coast of Spain or in Thailand. And very, very quickly, we realize that we're looking through the world in the lens of Michel Houellebecq. Where immediately, actually, the book has. I'm not the biggest fan of Michel Houellebecq at this point, but he can make me laugh. The beginning of the book, midway through the afternoon on the 14th of December, 1999, I realized my new year was probably going to be a disaster. And that's the beginning of the book. And he goes to a travel agency and he says, I have limited funds, but I want to go somewhere, and ultimately arrives on Lanzarote, this small island that keeps mild weather all the way throughout the year. And what we end up getting is a catalog of opinions and viewpoints that are xenophobic and sexist and prejudiced, and then scenes that are basically pornography. We have Michel Houellebecq talking about, well, the Belgians are perverse, and the Germans are uptight, and the French are fed up, and it's that idea of generalized ideas of whole entire cultures, and the same thing with men and women that you find throughout most of Houellebecq's books. Also, intolerance towards religion, especially in this book with Islam. And there are, despite the fact that the scene that I had been evoked for me, that I had been thinking about in The Stranger, even though that scene is absent from Lanzarote, the overall atmosphere or feel is still very similar to The Stranger. We do have this remote location. We do have a character that is dispassionate, aloof, indifferent. There are Muslim characters in the book. As I was reading it, which takes no time at all, it takes almost a sitting. Staff me. It turns into basically pornography. There are scenes where it's just explicit sex acts. We have our main character these books read very much like Bukowski novels. You have a main you have an author that's a simulacrum of a main character being put into different places. Here we have our author main character now in an island off the coast of Spain, meeting a few people, meets a Belgian person, meets two German lesbians, and they have a sex scene. There's a scene between our main character and the two German lesbians, with the Belgian not participating. So, towards the end, or we have our main character who is showing affection towards this Belgian, and is surprised. You're not being a part of our threesome, and I care about you, and what on earth is going on? We learn that the Belgian leaves the island, goes back to Belgium, joins a religious cult that shortly thereafter is found, the religious cult and this Belgian who's on tour gets gets incriminated for being a part of a pedophilia ring, and ends up in court. And the book ends with our main character following the news and seeing, like, oh, that person that I had met on the island who I liked so much is now being charged with pornography. And the book ends, and I'll if I don't really think it can be a spoiler, but it ends with our main character not waiting to hear the verdict, but instead going off on another vacation. That's the end of the book. Lanzarote. If you're a Michel Houellebecq completist, I suppose it's something that should be read. For myself, I'm still quite interested in pinning down the scene that I'm imagining. So maybe if you're watching to this point and you've read the Michel Houellebecq novels and you recall that scene in one of the other books, please let me know. I'm not really sure I'm ready to do a comprehensive reread of all the Michel Houellebecq novels. But I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. So that's Lanzarote by Michel Houellebecq. Let me know if you've read it, or if you've read anything else by Michel Houellebecq. And that's what I'll say for now. So please leave a comment if you would like. And thank you, and take care.